we are going to be dreaming together. We talked a little bit about dreams last week.
Yep.
And we're going to keep it a little bit shorter tonight. There's a Panthers game on, just saying. And there's some other things going on. But we just wanted to get a little bit practical and talk about, last week we walked through dreams, and we even talked about how we do something once a year called a vision retreat, where we intentionally get together and we dream about our lives in 7 different areas of our lives. And real quick, in case you didn't get them then, we want to have a faith vision, we want to have a future vision, we want to have a vision for our family, for our finances, for our friends, for our fun, I guess Nicole's favorite category, and for our fitness. And so the 7 areas, and it just kind of pretty much your whole life can fit in those categories. So so that's really just helped us. And so practically tonight, what we just want to have is just a short conversation here about what does it look like to have a vision for your family. Now, I remember the first time I heard the phrase vision for your family, it was on a CD, and it was a guy who had like 16 kids and made like $20,000. You remember that?
Yes, a missionary, and he's the whole reason why we've had kids.
Yeah, like
he basically got us pregnant.
Yeah, pretty anyway. So we're not necessarily talking about vision for your family, like how many kids you're gonna have. Which, by the way, we have a bunch of kids. So, but what we're talking about is not necessarily the size of your family, but what do you see? I mean, what are your dreams? What do you see yourself becoming and doing, and as a family, and all the people that are in your family? What do you see yourselves doing? And so
it's really appropriate to be talking about this week
because
Thanksgiving's coming up. So a lot of us are going to have the opportunity to connect with our family, whether it's our immediate family or our extended family in some cases. So and this topic really is going to help us all to be able to say, like, okay, what do I want my whole family? What are some of my dreams for my extended family? What are some of my dreams for my immediate family? And how does that play into, what does that look like? How do I move forward just this week as we travel, or as we host, or as we eat together, or as we blow up our deck with a turkey fryer,
Right, because I'm definitely planning on frying a turkey. So we need to request prayer. But I mean, seriously, we need to have some intentionality here, because I'll say this: one of my visions for this Thursday is, I got some hearts on please pray for me that I don't kill anybody. Hey, by the way,
or blow our house up.
Yeah, you do need to thaw the turkey before you put it in the fryer. Nicole was telling me that was.
He was like, "Oh, we're just gonna throw it in there frozen." I was like, "Babe, we gotta throw it out for like 5 days or something ridiculous."
I was joking.
You're totally joking. He's gonna throw a 20-pound frozen turkey into a fryer full of hot oil.
Listen, I'll tell you what I would have done. I would have read some directions before I'd have done that. So anyway, so
family vision.
So family vision. So we're gonna tell you kind of what we do. So this was actually, I found my old journal, and this was actually a Visioneering 2015. You see that? And so what we do is we kind of start out and we do like, dream glimpses and long-term goals. And so I even threw some pictures here. And then we started out and I did kind of a faith vision. And so for us, I wrote a faith vision for me of just kind of some things where I wanted to grow in my faith, where Nicole wanted to grow in her faith. And then for our family, we just said we're praying at night. We wanted to do some Bible time with our kids and act out some stories, and
we wanted to do that.
Yeah. And then our main one, because our kids are so small, it's like we don't do a bunch of like family devotions because it never works. And so we just do seize teachable moments. So we'll do a Bible story and we'll like make them all be a character and they'll get to act it out, and that's about as awesome as it gets.
And that doesn't happen very often.
And that happens probably 6 or 7 times a year, maybe. Yeah. And then season teachable moments. And so there's just kind of there's some times when you just need to reassure your kids of your love. So this is hilarious. So speaking about reaffirming your kids, so I'm not going to tell who it was because I don't want to embarrass them when they watch this later on. But one of our kids tonight had the worst smelling feet ever. Okay, I walk into the room and I'm like, "What is that smell?" And I mean, if you ever done it, parents, come on, you got to tell me. Curtis Carr, I know you've smelled the stinky feet before.
These kids are still little.
Well,
he's got an infant.
It's coming, buddy. And if you married a soccer player like me, here's what they do. Soccer player moms, they teach their kids not to wear socks. And so they put their nasty feet in their nasty shoes.
Because I was a soccer player.
It wasn't?
Nothing to do with that.
Well, what is it?
I just don't like socks.
Anyway, I've been blaming it on soccer this whole time. She's just nasty.
I like Chucks without socks. Does anyone else know what I'm talking about? You don't want to wear socks sometimes.
So anyway, our kids have the worst smelling feet on the face of the planet. And I walk in there.
Not all of our kids, just tonight.
Okay, so tonight it was really smelled like a skunk. And so I'm coming in and I'm like, what is that? And so, I mean, you got to check it out, right? You do the sniff test. So I totally grabbed the foot and smelled it. And it was like, oh, the first one. And I was like, that's horrible. They're like, I was like, you got to wash those. That's nasty. And she's like, now? I'm like, what are you going to do? Keep them in your bed? Your whole bed's going to be stank nasty, smelling like feet. And I was like, yeah, you got to wash them out. She washed them.
They still smell bad.
Then she came in. Get this. So, I was trying to get rid of my hat hair earlier. She comes in. She goes, Daddy, I washed my feet. So I smelled them again. Y'all.
No better.
Nasty. So here's what I did. I helped the girl out. What do you think I did?
You sprayed cologne on.
I sprayed cologne.
Gross, masked it.
I gotta teach him.
Masked it.
I know.
That's what you do.
But
you smell good right now. I wish y'all could smell him. He's smelling really good.
Her
right now.
face lit up. I was like, all right, let me help you out. And I sprayed the bottom of her foot, rubbed it on. Man, it was like I felt like I was what? It was like Esther.
She's like
I was like rubbing perfume on her feet. I was like, you a princess, girl.
She's over there right now, her toes are to her nose right now.
She's loving it. She's smelling her own feet. So
what was the point of that story?
Well, the whole point was I feel like it was seizing a teachable moment. And it was like, okay, listen, I stink. My feet stink. My daddy even was kind of mean to me earlier in telling me how my feet stunk. But she'd come in and she was just like, my feet still stink. What do I do? And I don't know. I just felt like it was a little bit of a love. Was that wrong? Is that another good example?
I'm like, that's not a teachable moment on your faith. Okay, just rewind the tape and completely. I'm sorry. Brandon has not gotten enough sleep this week, so okay. I'm going to take over from here. Just kidding.
Okay, so wait. I thought it was good. I rubbed, perfume or something on her feet. That makes her feel like a princess, right? That's like biblical.
Did you see the teachable
biblical
moment?
Identity.
How did you talk to her about it?
Okay, I'm not that cool. All I know is people are loving this though. Because she's calling me out. Is that what it is? Oh my gosh. So anyway.
You're just y'all, he's not really gotten enough sleep this week. So that's probably a problem. So listen, back to this.
So here's what we're going to do. So we're going to turn to the page that says family vision. Hey, and so what we're going to do is just talk about, okay, so what is your vision for your family? And then have you ever thought about writing it down? Have you ever thought about having some things that you're like, hey, this year I want this something to happen in our family. What's the vision that we have? And so we're going to walk through this a little bit and just kind of jump off. So first thing was our marriage.
Yeah. Okay.
So honey, what are some of the things that are here that we want to talk about?
Well, first we just want. Yeah. So this was from 2015. So. Yeah. This was going into the year 2015, and we were going to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, so that was a big deal.
Booyah.
For us.
We got Giardia in Mexico.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
It's not right that we went to Mexico to an all-inclusive and I come back like 10 pounds heavier and you came back like 12 pounds lighter.
Yeah, but I had diarrhea for 6 weeks.
I would have been fine with that if I could lose 12 pounds. Girls, can I? Anyway.
She wants to take a Giardia pill.
Yeah,
That's nasty.
so, okay.
That's horrible.
That's not what we were talking about. So, okay, so we wanted to improve kindness. That was one of the things that we wanted to improve with our family. And we had this phrase that we kind of just decided that this was going to be like the phrase of the year.
Yeah.
For us. And the phrase was grace in the midst of imperfection.
Yeah. So we kind of themed our year, and so that kind of became something. We shared it with some of our friends, and I think I might even said it to the group of of some of the volunteers at the church. We did like a pre-service pep rally and stuff, and I just kind of shared that. I was like, our theme for this year is grace in the midst of imperfection. What's y'all's? And we just kind of challenged that group to even think about and to pray about what would be a theme.
Yeah. So as you're thinking about, 2017 coming up, what's one phrase that you are going to be able to kind of just hang your hat on during the year? And so throughout the whole entire year, we would mess up all the time. And we're just like grace in the midst of imperfection. And for us, there was a good reason why we were working on this, and that was because we were really dealing with understanding our own performance-based acceptance, thinking from our childhood and from growing up, just how we felt more loved when we performed properly, and so we transferred that into our own marriage, family, work, ministry, everything. Yeah. And so we were like, you know what? Bump that.
Because we ended up being jerks to each other.
Yeah.
Because basically I'd motivated myself to perform, because if I performed, then I got praise, and then if I didn't, then I would beat myself up so that I'd perform more. And it's just this vicious cycle of performance-based acceptance. And it just the ick came to the surface in 2014. And so we were like, hey, in 2015, let's let our lives be characterized with kindness. And so that's where the whole theme of grace in the midst of imperfection came. And so I don't think we were as big of jerks to each other that year.
We did better, and then 2016 came and I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So.
It's a process.
It is a process.
So I think that's one of the things that we're really trying to remind ourselves here. And my friend Crystal over here is just saying, that's good, because the big part about it is that we want to continue to improve. We're never going to get there. We're never going to get to a place where we're always kind to each other. We're never going to get to a place where we're not dealing with the remnants of performance-based acceptance. Yeah. We're never going to get to a place where we're perfectly kind to one another and that we can take each other into account and understand and always have grace in the midst of imperfection. Yeah. But we can always improve.
That's right.
And so with God's help, we're on that journey. And so that was, I think, just us looking at it and saying, like, this year in 2015, and really it's been continuing into 2016, and it'll continue in 2017, is like, let's just continue to have grace for ourselves when we mess up. Let's continue to have grace for each other when we mess up. Let's continue to have a grace for our kids when they mess up, for our neighbors, for our friends, for our people in our ministry. Everyone's going to screw up sometimes. Let's just give them grace and of the kindness. So Travis says, what type of coffee's in that mug? We are kind of coffee snobs. Not really snobs. We're just like frou-frou.
Hey, let me tell you, this one's not frou-frou. Check this out.
You got black coffee?
It's black with just a little bit of sugar in it.
Yeah.
All right? So, anyway, I've started to get in that. What's up, RJ?
Yeah. I drink coffee with lots of creamer and just
I've been digging just some natural sugar in the cheapo coffee at Aldi.
Yeah, it's just cheap coffee.
Yeah,
nothing fancy.
But Travis, if you want to send us some bougie coffee, I'll make it in a French press and everything. I mean, just tell me how long to do it. I'll follow the directions.
Yeah. But anyway,
so we said we wanted to up our kindness. We also wanted to up our fun. Because we just needed to have some fun. We've been grueling it out, planting church. We just needed to have some fun. Yeah. And so we had planned So some fun date ideas. What are some of those fun ones that we said we wanted to do?
We didn't do all these,
No, we
but
didn't.
we wanted to go to the shooting range, and I wanted to learn how to shoot a gun. We wanted to go to the Whitewater Center and zip line. And
Yeah, we didn't do either
didn't do
one
any
of those.
Yeah. Indoor rock climbing. I think we might not have done that either. Okay, we did this
So
one.
we just failed.
In Charleston,
Yeah.
we always get to go to Charleston for a vacation, and we wanted to do bike riding through Charleston, and we did that.
We did do that.
Yeah, so that was really fun. In fact, it started raining. It was very like picturesque. So, and then a sunset boat picnic, which we didn't do. So we stuck to that. But there's grace in the midst of imperfection.
Hey,
and
that's
the
great.
thing is that we have it written down, so we can
We can do it this year.
We can do it this year.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to up our kindness, we wanted to up our fun. And honestly, we'll just be completely honest here. We wrote it down. We wanted to improve in our sexual relationship.
Come on.
We wanted-
Come on, brothers.
Both of
Come
us
on, give
wanted
me
to
a thumbs up, somebody.
wanted to be more satisfied in our sexual relationship.
Yeah.
And guess what? When you up your kindness toward one another, and when you improve your fun that you're having together as a married couple, you're not just partners side by side, but you're intimate, face to face. Then yeah, your sex life gets a lot better.
Hallelujah.
So that was something that that we decided when we were planning that we want to actually work on making sure that our sex life was better in 2015 than it was in 2014. And I mean, the fact that we had an infant in 2014, it does really kind of kill the sex life a little bit. Yeah. But happy to say that it's improved. So.
In case y'all were wondering, awkward.
Not that awkward, but
okay. So that's kind of a little bit of a snapshot of our marriage. So what's your marriage vision? You know, what's your vision for your marriage? You know what? I mean, in 10 years, you're going to be somewhere. Are you just going to be the grumpy old people that tolerate each other? You know, buddy of mine told me a joke. I can't resist telling this joke. He says, so, and this kind of has to do with like sex and marriage. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I don't know. You really have bad
so
jokes.
The first year of marriage, it's tri-weekly. TRIWEEKLY. Okay? Right? Three times a week. Right?
Yeah.
That's like the first year of marriage. Okay. When you're about 10 years in, it's tri-weekly. TRYWEEKLY. Okay? And after 10 years of marriage, or I think he was saying like at 20 years of marriage or something like that, it's tri-weekly. TRYWEEKLY.
I don't think that's going to be the case. So.
Oh, not.
I would definitely say it's more like after your first, before your first kid.
Yeah.
Tri-weekly. After your first kid, tri-weekly. After 4 kids, tri-weekly.
Yeah, that's true.
But thankfully...
When you're really tired.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a resurrection later on.
Oh, God. Resurrection.
Jesus. I need to plug my phone in before it dies.
Well, go ahead and plug it.
Why don't you talk about the kids' vision while I go get my charger?
Okay, so for our kids, we wanted to put into them we wanted to serve together with our kids. We wanted to start showing our kids how important it is to serve others. And so whether that was through our church, and even when our church at that time didn't have specific outreaches, we wanted to show the Berry girls that the Berries serve other people. And so we thought of a few different areas, 6 different areas where we can serve. And they were food, water, shelter, clothing, prison, and sick. And that really came from when Jesus was like, when I didn't have food, you fed me. When I didn't have water, you gave me a cup to drink. I don't remember where that is in the Bible, but Brandon came up with it because he's the pastor, and so, whatever. I know it's there. I don't remember, and he didn't write it in his journal here, but so we wanted to look at the food, at water, at shelter, at clothing, prison, sick. How can we, in each one of those areas, say, let's take our kids and serve in this area? And so we said, we could help food. We helped an elementary school plant a sustainable garden. And so we went through and cleared all the weeds and tilled up all the dirt, and we planted a whole bunch of stuff. We did that with our church, and it was just a great opportunity to have the kids involved, something that they can do. Little hands can get dirty, and so we were able to do that. Water, we wanted to raise money to give to a...
Sorry.
That was his fault. We wanted to raise money.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
I'm totally failing right now.
We wanted to give money towards Water Missions International, which is a Charleston-based organization that helps give clean water to people all around the world who don't have it. I have no idea where this is going to go.
It's all right. So, in essence, we wanted to introduce our kids to serving and try to get intentional with that.
Yeah. So we went through the 6 different areas. I won't go through each one now, but and then we wanted to make memorable moments for our kids. So I'm going to turn this just a little bit.
Okay.
We said, what can we do to make memories with our kids that our kids are going to be able to look back and be like, oh, do you remember when we were 7 and 8 and we went tent camping in the spring?
And by the way, this is a good statistic. Did you know that actually families that go camping together, this is kind of an outlier statistic. For some reason, families that go camping together are like statistically way higher likely to not get divorces and for the kids not to get into like drug addictions and teen pregnancies. And for some reason, it was like the weird scarlet thread through a lot of families that didn't have to deal with a lot of things. They went camping together. They went
camping together. Well, I'll tell you about the one time we did decide to go camping. So we took our kids camping. Actually, this year. We didn't do it last year. I don't even know why we were writing this stuff down because it didn't happen. But
write the vision and make it plain. Though it tarry, wait for it. It may happen in 2 years.
It may happen. But so we didn't get to go that in 2015, but we did go in 2016. And I don't know, maybe some of you saw it on our Facebook, but basically,
what's up, Coop?
We went camping. It was all of our kids. We have 4 kids. And then Brandon's brother and sister-in-law, and they had 3 kids at the time when she was pregnant. So they had been camping a few times before, and their kids kind of knew the deal. Well, we get down there, and it is just hot. I mean, it's August, and our kids have never been camping. They're all girls, so they were like not excited about being, in this new environment outside of their cozy. They wanted like all their stuffed animals and all the stuff. So we get there, we get the tent set up. We got to try to go put them to bed after the whole day of playing and swimming and campfires and food. We try to get them in the bed, on the floor, and it was the most horrible thing. I kid you not, at 11 o'clock at night after we sat.
They had been screaming for 2 hours straight.
The 2 youngest ones.
The 2 youngest ones. And they're sweating and they're,
It was so hot. And we're all the adults.
Epic fail.
All the adults are sitting around in a circle in between the 2 tents. And we're sitting there being as quiet as possible around. It wasn't even a fire because it was so hot. We didn't want a fire.
I think we lit a candle.
We did. We had a citronella candle, and we're like just sitting there like, if we went to John Pepper's house, we'd be there in 45 minutes in the air conditioner. It was like 90 degrees at night.
So we packed up at 11 o'clock at night in the van.
We totally punked out.
We left our stuff at the camping site and
put our kids in the van and pieced out to air conditioning, and it was the best decision ever. So anyway, memorable moments, right? There'd be one time where our kids would be like, hey, remember that time we went camping? Except for we didn't.
But guys, like statistically speaking, they're less likely to get in a bunch of trouble when they're teenagers.
Because we did it once.
Because of that. Well, yeah, so
anyway, but
what are so let's kind of pause for a second and just be like, okay, what are some memorable moments that you guys are planning on having, or that you have had? Let's leave some in the or that you'd like to have. Let's leave some comments and let's share some good ideas with one another.
We've got some Sarahs watching. Hey, Sarah Bunch. Hey, Sarah Sayat. Come on, you guys have ideas, have goals, have dreams. What kind of memories do you want to make with your kids?
Yeah, and so this is just bringing some intentionality to it and saying, hey, let's write this down. And you may not do everything that's on the list, but you may end up doing something. Another one was like going back to our alma mater, to Furman University, and doing some tailgating and trying to go to like one football game. And we tried that, and honestly, we didn't do it this year because it was it's just hard to do that with our age kids. But it was worth it. You know, we made an attempt at a
I'll
memory.
say this.
Yeah.
All these things, these memorable moments, and basically everything that we want to do, she wants the goal to sleep through the night. Yes. That's a good goal to have, my friend. But I would just say this, like, even if it doesn't turn out to be as picture perfect as you had envisioned, it's still worth the effort. And so, you know, our tent camping, you know, packing our kids up and taking them to a property of our family members across, you know, 3 hours away or something, trying to go to a tailgating football game and never getting to actually see the football game because our kids want to go to the concession stand or, you know, whatever. They're still worth it, even though it wasn't like this, like, oh, we're enjoying a football game together and all of our girls are intimately involved in all the details of the game. Yeah. You know, Brandon's like, I want to see the football game. And, you know, that just doesn't happen, but it's still worth it to try.
It's worth it.
I would say, like,
we're creating memories.
We're creating some memories. I don't know if they're good or bad, but
maybe traumatic sometimes.
They might be good for our kids, even though they've been traumatic for us. So
that's really, I think that's the sacrifice of parenting, is taking up your cross and being miserable, trying to create memories for your kids.
So besides those things, we looked at each one of our kids as individuals.
So write down their name, and then say, okay, this year, what are you hoping for them? What is something that is feasible for them to do at their age? You know, what's a goal? What's something that, you know, we as parents can be united in? So what are some of the things we said about 2 years ago about Ella?
So for Ella, we wanted her to work on her responsibility for her things and her tasks. So at that point, she was 7. And one of the things we wanted to do with her is work with her on soccer, because she has, and running, because those are 2 things that we thought that she may be good at, and turns out she's pretty good at them. So we did get to do that. We bought her. We were talking about some sort of music thing. And then and then for Ella, you know, one of her tendencies was that she would tend to, like, if we would correct her or we would go to a certain point head to head with her on anything, she would kind of tend to start putting herself into the victim chair. And so we said, you know, this year we wanted to get to the root of that and understand why she would kind of victimize herself or allow herself to get into the victim chair in certain situations. And so,
and to just kind of help her
just kind of help her,
and so we
not get into a habit of doing that.
And so when we're willing to look in the mirror and say, hey, we got some sin, we got some bent towards certain sins, and I know, you know, victim chair mentality is definitely in some of my bloodline, and so so there's a good chance if you or one of your parents or one of your grandparents on either side struggled with something, then there's a good chance that one of those struggles is maybe going to show up, probably not all the struggles, but some combination of some struggles is going to show up in your kids. And whenever they get low, and then they're going to tend towards kind of a similar vice to what's in their bloodstream. And so we recognized that, and we're recognizing even in all 4 of our daughters, they have different tendencies. Their sin looks different. And so that's actually, I think, part of the reason why it says we overcome not just by the blood of the Lamb, but by the word of our testimony. It's actually the fact that Ella is aware, you know, that of her grandma who's aware that she got into that tendency, and she is fighting to get out of it, and actually has conversations with Ella about that, and which is just so good. And so Ella is like, oh, okay, so this whole like just getting in the victim chair to try to get my way is not actually a healthy thing. And you know, here's grandma who's saying, hey, like I sat in that chair too much, and don't do, and trying to help. And so it's just been so good, and I think that's huge. I think honestly it's one of the things that the enemy's done is to try to separate our family from one another, try to silence us so that we don't tell our stories, we don't admit our weakness, and so if we don't know our stories and we don't know the good, the bad, and the ugly of our stories, then our kids we may be doing them a disservice. And so anyway, that went a little bit deep, but Ella, I think she's really made some progress in that. And I think we were being intentional about it. We didn't necessarily have a strategy for how we were going to do it, but I think we've really seen it.
Yeah.
Kind of take a turn.
Sarah's asking advice for toddler goals. So when your kids are really small, I think the biggest thing for us has been that we want to teach them to be responsible for what they can be responsible for. And so when they're small, and I know Sarah's daughter's, under 2, or she just turned 2, there are things that she can have responsibility for. Small things like put your cup on the counter, or put your cup on this, table here when you're done with it, or, giving them choices, helping them to feel powerful, when they're young. So it could be something as simple as, do you want to wear these shoes or these shoes? Do you want to put your shoes on in the car, or do you want to put them on before you get into the car? And so even at 2 years old, we're trying to give Kate choices, and and our goal is to make her into a responsible decision maker, someone who feels that when someone who feels powerful. We want her to feel powerful because she is powerful, and we can't control her, even though by force a parent could control your kid. You could, I guess, with your voice or with your hand or your wooden spoon, or taking away things. There's a seam of control. You think that you can control someone, but you really can't. Yeah. And so we're learning that as we grow in our parenting, that hey, she's her own person. She's going to make her own decisions. And so I can either empower her to make her own decisions, or I can try to make every decision for her. And then, when she grows up, if she doesn't know how to make any decisions because I've made every decision for her, then what good does that do for her when she's going to kindergarten? What good does that do for her when she becomes a teenager and she doesn't know how to make decisions?
Right.
So I would say, Sarah, that would be my advice: is help your daughter to start making her own decisions, and then when she makes the wrong decision, allow her to feel the consequences of those decisions, so that because she's smart and she can understand that, hey, instead of saying something good example, instead of saying, it's cold outside, grab your jacket, or here, put this jacket on. What I've started telling the girls is, hey, it's cold outside, it's 32 degrees, grab a jacket if you want one. Well, some of our girls will grab a jacket, and some of them won't. So yesterday, Allie didn't want to have a jacket when we went to life group. But then we got into the car, and she's like, I'm cold, Well, I think her being cold for a little while is probably a better teacher than me telling her, you have to wear a jacket every time. Because next time we tell her, hey, it's cold outside, she's going to probably remember. It probably won't take too many times for her to remember, hey, it's cold outside, I need a jacket. And so even with Channing or a small child, they can make decisions and feel those consequences of their decisions. And so I think no matter how old your children are, 2 or 12, that's a great goal to have as parents for your children. I want my kids to be responsible decision makers who feel the consequences of their own decisions, that I don't shield them from the consequences, but I allow them to feel the consequences fully.
Right.
And then I help walk them through alternative ways to be able to make those decisions. So, for instance, going back to the jacket, hey, babe, when she's in the back seat, hey, it's cold in here. Hey, without making her feel like an idiot too, just hey, yeah, it's going to be starting to get colder and colder and colder because it's going to be winter. You may want to, consider your decision a little bit.
And I think at the end of the day, we're not going to try to. The goal in parenting is not to raise kids; it's to raise responsible adults who are going to be powerful decision makers. And so, the more we can empower them with choices along the way, I think the better. And so, but here's the thing that you do control as a parent: is you control permission. And so. When you give them choices, give them 2 choices, both of which you're okay with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with Kate, and Kate's only 2 years old, I empower her every single morning. She comes downstairs, I say, would you like to have oatmeal or yogurt for breakfast? She chooses. I want yogurt. Okay. Would you like peach yogurt or vanilla yogurt? She chooses. Vanilla yogurt. Okay. Would you like the blue spoon or the purple spoon? The blue spoon. Already in the first 5 minutes of her being awake, she's made 3 choices. And so when she's eating her vanilla yogurt with her purple spoon, she knows that she made those choices. So sometimes she'll be like, no, I want the blue spoon. And I'm like, okay, I've already put the blue spoon back into the drawer. So if you want the blue spoon, you can come and get the blue spoon out of the drawer. Because I'm not going to continue to sit and cater to your every need and your every whim of your choices being, completely fickle.
So we're not going to enable, when we talk about giving choices, we're not enabling our children to be manipulators.
Right.
And I think that's important. And that we set the rules. And so that we say, okay, here is a consequence. And if you want to make this other choice, then this is going to happen. The example of, and we're okay. And I think this is some sense like, hey, and especially, and I don't know, I'm not, but it's like sometimes one parent can have a tendency to want to like coddle and take care of their little princess, and we've got to just be like, you know what? It's not going to kill Allie to be cold, to go outside and be 3 or 4 hours without a coat. I mean,
she walked out of the door this morning to the bus stop without her coat this morning, and I resisted the urge to be like, grab your coat, because really it wasn't even this might sound bad, but it wasn't even necessarily that I didn't want her to be cold. One of my first thoughts after like, oh, she might be cold, is I don't want her teachers to think I sent her without a coat. And so sometimes we as parents are trying to make choices for our kids that they wouldn't necessarily make for themselves, because we want to save face. And so I was really recognizing my motivations in that and saying, you know what, like if her teacher thinks that I sent her without a coat, that's okay. It doesn't hurt me any. That hurt, and I don't know if her teacher knows that or noticed her at anything.
That's good. That's good.
Anyway,
that's really good.
So
how are we on time?
Yeah.
You know what? I think we said we were going to keep it short, and I think we've already kept it long.
Yeah.
But I do want to mention this.
Let's
wrap it up.
On our website, berryshare.com,
Yeah.
we did get on there the free template for the Engineer Your Year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so if you just go on to www.berryshare.com, you can sign up for the free template to download it. And so you can do a personalized vision retreat for yourself, for your family, whoever you're doing life with. We would love to just give you that gift, just to download it.
Yeah.
And so all it takes is, filling out a little form. We will not bombard you with emails, mostly because I just don't have time to write those emails. So what we were thinking is maybe just doing like a once a month update on what's going on with Berry Share. And so I promise you, we will not be inundating your inbox with emails 3 times a day or anything like that, but we definitely wanted to get you that free resource into your hands. It will not always be free, so go ahead and sign up for that today and get it for free while we still allow it to be free. But it's just a great thing. I mean, Brandon developed the entire thing, and it's a free ebook basically that you can just download, and I think it's like 12 pages. You can print it off on your own printer, take it with you, write on it. It's fantastic.
And we'd love some feedback too. And just if you have any questions about it. And so, obviously every week, with the exception of next week, we're going to be having Thanksgiving, so we will not see you Thursday. But in 2 weeks and then Thursdays after that, we'll be here. You can post questions, comments, give us some feedback on the Engineer Your Year freebie that we're giving away on berryshare.com. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Brandon Berry.
I'm Nicole Berry.
And we're so grateful to be able to share in this capacity with you. Thank you for sharing your time, your awesome ideas, and your comments with us.
Thanks.
We love you guys. And it is our hope and joy that we get to inspire passion for your priorities. So let's do this together. All right. Take care, y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Peace.